All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming up to the final All Access Pass. I'm your cruise host, Jason. Thank you for being with me. Sitting next to some absolute legends of the game. You know them, you love them. Let them hear it, the Guess Who. Talk about great rock and roll. I'll start with you, sir, because you're closest to me, and you have a microphone. Yeah, I know. You've earned it. What's it like being on the Flower Power cruise? You guys have done a few of these. You've done a few different cruises with us. What's it like?
Cathartic.
Good word. Good word. Why? What makes you say cathartic?
Because it's a soul experience that rejuvenates your soul and mind. And how great is it to be bobbing about on the water in a steel can and having all this great music. I don't know what the hell the fish are thinking. They don't know what's going on.
They've never heard this level of volume, I'm sure, yeah.
No, it's great, and it's a journey back to the time where it was a little bit more innocent than we are now. You know?
I think that's a global, yeah. That works for me. Did you get a microphone, Derek? You did get a microphone. Before I get into the guest questions, Derek, would you do me a kindness and would you introduce this man to these people?
What man?
This guy?
This guy.
This guy
This
over
guy
here?
over here?
This guy over here is better than that guy over there.
Introduce this guy right here to these
This guy
fine
over
people.
here. You want me to say something? Or
Yeah, introduce him. Tell him how special this man is.
He's so special.
He's like a spicy meatball.
He's like a spicy meatball. This is a true story. He started playing the drums I met his father. His father's long deceased now, but I met his dad. His dad was quite the entertainer himself. He used to have the hair like Dairy Queen, and he was black at 90s, whatever. How old was he? 95, 96, and he had jet black Dairy Queen hair, and he was dressed up to the nines, and he was telling the story about how Gary used to play the drums in his lap, you know, and his father was a drummer as well, and his brother was the drummer, and mother just gave birth, and she wasn't the drummer.
Just.
So anyway, and apparently Gary started playing when he was 4. They took him to Chicago, and he played with Peggy Lee.
It's a musical prodigy.
This is a true story, ladies and gentlemen. So Gary will be 77 on May 25th this year. So he's technically, I'm not lying when I say he's been playing almost 75 years.
Yeah.
So, you know.
That's a very,
I think
very
it's
cool.
I think it's a record. I don't think
It's
there's
gotta
anybody that's been playing that
professionally for 75 years. It's got to be right up there.
Gotta be.
It's got to be.
To put it in perspective, if I was to say to any one of you, do you remember the day you started to walk? And I know the answer to that already. So that's what drumming is like for me.
You don't even remember.
I've always
You
played.
still don't remember.
I still don't remember.
You're a hell of a drummer.
They have to point me to the drums so I know where they're. But
Steer you to the kids.
Once I get behind them, I know where I am.
Now you know.
Well, I'll finish with this. It's
Please.
amazing how well he plays at the age he is. I mean, he's probably better now than he was before. I mean that from the bottom.
I feel that.
Yeah, for sure.
But I like to practice because I'm still trying to be as good as Ringo Starr and Charlie Watt.
Ringo Starr.
No, that's seriously.
Is that who inspired you? Was that?
Many people
Yeah.
have inspired me, you know. Buddy Rich, of course, from the old days. And Steve Gadd is one of the greatest drummers in the world because he's played on so many great records. And I mean, there are hundreds of great drummers. So I just try to...
Well, you're one of them.
I try to get better all the time.
That's cool.
I'm trying to do.
And I mean this respectfully when I say at this age. That's very cool that at 70 some odd years old, you're still trying to be better,
Yeah.
not just existing on what you were, or what you have been, or what you still are.
Can you give me a couple of lessons later?
Sure, I got you. I've been practicing for minutes, so I've got
Okay,
you.
good.
Yeah, that's amazing. Another general question, because this was asked on the Rock and Romance cruise, and Gary, you had a great answer. Actually, maybe it was Derek. Tell us a little bit about the current build of the band, because you were ecstatic about it last time we talked.
About the what?
The band, as it currently is. The build. Those guys. These guys.
I like to say that it took me.
Drummers don't use microphones, if you can't tell. We're encouraging it. Look at him, now he's mad at me. Now I'm in trouble. Thank you, Derek.
It took me stereo. Let's go here. Okay, stereo. No. It took me about 60 years to get this band together, and so it's probably, in my mind, the greatest group of musicians we have ever had, not to take away from the original band, because when you write young songs as a youth, you can never go back to that time and recreate that. So hopefully you get better in your craft, as I said, and the craft of this band is off the charts.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would love to kind of go down the line. Derek, tell everybody when you joined and what it was like joining the Guess Who.
Ooh. Thought of that in a while. Yeah, it was about 14 years ago, and I had very little time to prepare because I thought I was filling in. I was doing something else, and there were a lot of words to learn. And everybody showed up, the agent, manager, everybody to watch me, and I was like, oh, fuck. And I remember before I went on stage, I just blanked. I couldn't remember how the first song went. I'm like, oh my God, and the intro music's going on, and it was horrible. And there was 5,000 people out there, and then it just came to me at the last second.
Thank goodness.
God, oh my God, that's what I remember. It was a while ago. We've done a few shows since then.
He's a little bit modest. Because
But I remember. Okay, I'll let you talk.
it was in Houston, Texas.
It was in Houston, but you said to me, remember at dinner, once you join the band, you never leave.
No, it was like,
They pull you back in.
once you get in, you can never get out. But
Kind of like that.
he's a little bit modest because if you know the material of the Guess Who, it's not all American Woman. It's American Woman, it's These Eyes, it's Undone. They're all different songs, and some of them are really hard. We sat in a hotel room in Houston with an acoustic guitar and Derek and the band. We went through the show. We never played one note together before we got on stage. So he did the whole show just like that. I don't know anybody that could do that. So
Well, there's probably.
He is awesome.
Oh no, we could probably embellish it too because I don't think there's any video of it.
Yeah,
No.
even better.
Awesome. It was amazing. Best show ever.
Zoom in on your face in that video about 2 minutes before the end.
Right, exactly.
Oh my God.
The horror.
Yeah. Let's move on down the chain. Did you guys have microphones? Leonard, Michael, do you guys have mics? Michael, tell us. Mike's got a mic. Michael, tell us how you got to be in this fabulous band, sir.
Wow. So I got a phone call from the former bass player, Rudy Zarzo, and I had a couple weeks to prepare. And, of course, when I found out that there was an opportunity, I was ecstatic. And much like Derek, I had, like I said, a few weeks to prepare and then to a sound check where we played 3 of a dozen or so songs at sound check, and then it was just go. So it was exhilarating. It was a little bit terrifying. It was.
and you came to us from Lou Gramm.
Yeah. I spent several years with him.
So
The real story.
yeah,
What is the real?
you're here because you can cook spaghetti.
Yeah. I make a mean marinara.
A gravy, if you will.
Gravy, yeah.
Yeah, mean gravy.
That's a debate. You have to go.
I know.
Jersey.
It is.
Yeah,
It's territorial.
Gravy or sauce?
A sauce. Yeah, it's true. And what was your first show like? Do you remember your first show? You, Michael.
Me? Oh, yeah. It was great. I mean, I think we played. this May will be a year for me, and I think we started in Minnesota, St. Cloud, Minnesota. Yeah, it was a very well attended show. The band was a fine tuned, well oiled machine. It was really easy stepping in, although I was a little bit nervous and but excited at the same time. So it was a great experience, and I'm still here.
Yeah, amen. Let's go all the way down to the end. You got to take it, Leonard. It's the rules. It's the rules.
You mean Larry?
Yeah, Larry.
Yeah, Lawrence.
Lawrence, just call me Lawrence Gowan. My name is Lawrence Gowan.
No.
Not. But I was confused with that name the other night by Darren Dowler, of all people.
Yes.
Yeah, he made a good joke. We made some jokes with Darren. He's a great singer, great guy. Anyway, I had the pleasure of growing up in Winnipeg in the same neighborhood as Mr. Peterson, actually, and two of the other original members of the band, Cummings and Backman. And I used to see them around a little bit in pool halls and sportsman's billiards, yes, it was, and the Salisbury House, a great chain in Winnipeg of hamburgers. Anyway, I digress. I went to see, moved to Toronto, I was living there, and I went to see the band in California at the LA County Fair. And Mike Hanford, another Winnipegger who preceded me in the band, didn't make the gig, and I got called up to sit in that night. It was quite an experience. That was my first experience. Not quite as drastic as Derek.
But still somewhat drastic.
And
Oh.
in the vein of once you're in, you can never get out, you've been in the band 30 years.
And still here and loving it.
So, other than myself, that makes Leonard the second. Number two. And Derek is now number 3.
Gary, it's Lawrence. It's Lawrence.
Larry.
Lawrence. Yeah,
Larry's
Larry.
number 2.
Whatever.
It's actually Loosh.
Loosh.
Ooh.
But it's been a great ride,
Yeah.
and we've had some wonderful musicians in the band, but I have to agree with Gary. This lineup is a band. It really feels like a band. We play together like a band,
Yes.
and it's great to be here right now.
Yes.
A band.
A band.
I thought we were Jello wrestlers all the time.
They didn't
That's
tell you?
later. That's after the show.
That's the second cruise. Gary. I will say, for all the gold crowd who by round of applause got to see the Guess Who perform already. Round of applause. Okay. So a good chunk of you in the room have already seen them. The rest of you obviously see them tonight. You guys play off each other, and the stage chemistry between the group is unparalleled. It's really fantastic to watch you guys perform. It is a really tight group. It's wonderful. I mean, and Gary, you can speak to this. I enjoyed Will.
Scaring me.
Yeah, because I'm leading up to something. I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, Will and Rudy were great, and we get questions, where's Will, where's Rudy? And obviously they've been stolen by the dark side. But the current lineup
I
you
think
have,
we're the farm team for Styx.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But
Styx is cannibalizing their people slowly but surely.
every year.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like-
Somebody else gets nabbed. But I've got to say, with all due respect to some of the guys that have gone, I really do love the lineup you guys have. I really think you guys are fantastic.
Yeah, it's way better. The
It's,
hell with
it's
it.
awesome. Forget those guys. Who are they? So as you know, gentlemen, I love to let the audience get involved. So we had a couple questions from the audience. Nita, is that correct? Nita Anderson, is that correct? Nita Anderson from Austin. I try to go to all of your shows in Austin. I even caught one of your, it says picks. I couldn't read that. Picks, Derek. And Michael, how did you decide to play with the Guess Who? We already answered that a little bit. Nita loves you guys, and she has one of your picks, Derek.
Wow. I think I need to.
When are you
Whenever
coming back?
you want. Send me the plane ticket. Yeah.
November.
November.
November, yeah, November.
Yeah,
November.
If you come to our shows there, you know it's usually the One World Theater in Austin, Texas, right? Yeah, so it's not on the books quite
We have
yet,
our
but
Texas tour,
we've been there
which is
many years.
The Texas tour consists
Before
of
COVID.
Austin, Dallas,
Yeah.
and Houston. Yeah.
Austin, Dallas, Houston. That's fantastic. Debbie, Carol, and Betsy, all three of these lovely ladies from Ohio. Ooh, specifically for Derek. Ooh. Specifically for D Sharp. When you're on stage performing, which songs energize you the most or are the most fun for you?
All of them.
All of them.
I don't have
For
a
children, yeah, it's tough to.
I don't have a favorite. I don't know. That's a trick question.
Yeah, that's fair.
I see it as a whole. I don't see it as per song.
Yeah. You see it as a concert, top to finish. I think sometimes that's what, and I know you guys have a carefully curated show. You guys have built, obviously, what song goes where, and I think people sometimes forget that.
There are things that are in place,
Exactly.
and there's other things that aren't. And
Yeah.
it depends on the people, the energy
Sure.
of the people and whatever, yeah.
And it's built in an arc to a certain extent. Most shows are, and TV shows, movies are all kind of built the same, and your guys' show is built like that. You start out one way, you let people settle, and then you hit with peaks and valleys, and it's intentional to take them on a ride. And I think that's a beautiful thing.
It's a journey, just like on a cruise ship.
You're so poetic, Gary. I love you. For the whole group, do you have any new material or songs coming out?
Give it to him.
Give it to him.
He never says anything.
Give it to the young guy. Come on, new guy.
Well, we actually have been working on one song in our dressing room pre-show for about how many weeks now? A week?
Enough
2?
weeks.
Yeah. And we actually debuted it the other night during our set. And we may. You think we'll play it tonight, or what do you think?
It's up to you.
It's
Up to me. Okay.
It's up to you.
Well, do you guys want to hear some new material tonight, or? Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll play.
Well, we're going to do it anyway, whether they want it or not.
You're supposed to roll with me.
You guys have done enough of these. You should know you can't tell half the crowd they saw something that the other crowd hasn't
You know
seen.
what I mean? Like, way to go, buddy.
We'll catch a lot of hell
Just
for
let
that.
the cat out of the bag.
Good job.
I asked a question. I had to answer it.
Howard comes to us from New York. Is it true that American Woman is about the Statue of Liberty and the Vietnam War? Gary.
No, you have to understand, we come from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and that was, it was 1969, and we had been coming to the States since 1966 when we had Shaken All Over on Scepter Records. And when we got down here, there was the Vietnam War, there was racial problems. We had spent time in Chicago during the Democratic riots that they had in '65, and we didn't understand what was going on down here. It was foreign to these four or five guys from Winnipeg. We didn't, and so I think American Women was more of a frustrating comment on what we saw going on down here. So it's not about women, and it's definitely about the country as it unfolded before us.
Great answer. Thank you. There you go. Connie would like to know, where is your favorite place to perform if you have one? Venue.
Where?
The cruise ship.
Hands down.
Hands down. Connie would also like to know, how many tattoos do each of you have? Whoa. And where are they? Oh, yeah. That's the yardstick you had tattooed on, right? That's the yardstick. Yeah.
Only show the visible ones.
Yeah.
Connie, you're going to have to find out for yourself.
Ooh. Backstage pass for Connie. Okay. Debbie from Florida, what is on tap for the rest of this year and potentially next year? What do you guys got coming up?
Well, hopefully, we have around a month or 2 months off now in April and May. I think we have 2 shows in that time period. And Derek has written some incredible songs that we want to record and perhaps think about doing a video or something like that.
Yeah. You know what? I'll bring you up to speed, all right?
Good. Let me know. Get don't you tell me what's happening?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. He was supposed to tell you, but
Oh, okay.
I thought he did, but maybe it was
Nobody
him.
told
I'm not
me
sure.
anything.
No one tells Gary anything.
Well,
They just point me towards those drums, and that's it.
Well, you know, no.
Derek do his ab workout.
On the video, just a Derek ab workout. She said it.
Yeah,
How did we go from songs
to ab workout.
abs work?
I'm in. I'll do anything.
Yeah.
But you know, we do live really far apart. You know, Florida, L.A., Winnipeg, Nashville, Toronto. It's difficult to get together. So because we have some time off, which we hardly ever do, we figured we could allot a bit of time to do this. We're ready to do it now. We have about, you know, you were talking about my song, but we do have about 15 songs. We want to do 8. But getting us all in one place to do it at the same time is costly. No, you know, there's time. Is everybody available? There's all these mitigating factors. I use the word mitigating. Yep, because that's a $5 word.
It's a good one.
So smart. But I would personally like to do it in Canada because I live there. It would be less effort for me. No.
Yes, obviously.
And none for me.
No, there's a guy. It's a long story, but there's this beautiful studio in the country. I think that would suit us at playing together in a room. You know, because we actually like each other. Believe it or not, we do.
If you couldn't tell.
I'm just saying it.
No, we love each
And
other.
we like hanging out, and I think that comes out in the music. So I think instead of last time we did the record, we had to do things remotely, and there's no camaraderie, there's no laughing, there's no anything. It's just like, oh, here's the track. Okay, now it's my turn. I'll play the guitar. I'm going to sing. You know, that's what we did before.
Sure.
So we're going to do it that way this time. So it's just a matter of when we can do it. And there's been some, you know, crossing the border hasn't been easy for a while. So once that's over and done with, which it should be soon, we're going to do that. All that to say, it should be out like by the end of the year.
Very cool.
If all goes well.
Oh, very cool. Mike and Lorraine from Toronto, waving the Canadian flag, not to mention, many of you played at the 2003 SARS Stock Concert. What was it like to play for 450,000 people?
It was more than that.
They were there.
That's what the paper said. It was more like 600,000
600,000.
at the end of the day.
What is that like?
Were you there?
They were.
Were you? And you didn't notice?
Yeah.
Well, you couldn't see the stage. Well, how close were you?
Two-thirds of the way
Right.
back.
Could you see the stage? Barely? You can't see it, nothing, right? Because they had screens every, 100 feet or something like that for everybody to see. That's how massive it was. I was showing Susan Cowsill a picture of it last night. We were talking about it, and we saw the audience on the video, and it's just, you can't see the end of the people.
That's kind of cool.
It was a hot day. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
a
it's
long
really
time
hot.
ago.
Really.
They were passing out water to everybody. I mean, it was 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah. That's got to be kind of a cool experience to walk out in front of that many. I mean, over 500,000 people.
Didn't we talk about it the last?
We did.
The last cruise. That's how Gary and I actually met each other.
Yeah.
On that.
And little did I know at that time that he would be the lead singer of this band. So it was kind of fate.
in love.
We fell in love.
Fate. A fated moment. Rachel from Tennessee. I love Rachel's handwriting every time. Your stage presence is phenomenal.
Yay!
No, I'm just kidding. No buts. What inspires you to engage the audience so strongly? Were there concerts or performers some of you saw that you emulated, or is this just emanating from you?
I would say it's emanating from us. I mean, you always have, it's like learning an instrument. You have influences that are there. It doesn't mean you're imitating.
Yeah.
They're just there.
Sure.
Somewhere in you. So if we saw people we liked at one time, right? You say Buddy Rich.
Yeah.
And like, you know, maybe I watched a lot of the glam rock guys, you know, in the 70s and stuff. You know, they were pretty outrageous. You know, you want to be like that when you're a kid, but when you start doing it, it's different because now you got to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think someone, a lead singer that I talked to at one time said, you know, when an audience comes, they're waiting to go on, as I said, a journey. And either you grab them and take them on that journey, and because they're just waiting to be taken. So Derek has a great aptitude for doing just that.
Aptitude. Take us. Deb from PA. The last cruise we were on with you, you told someone who brought a Who album that you'd sign. What has it happened since? Yeah, that was Lawrence.
We've been in situations where we've got notes in our dressing room to Peter Townsend. Yeah. I'm not kidding.
That's after they've seen the show. Figure that out.
The only other caveat to that story is, of course, the Who and the Guess Who. People cross-pollinated the names all the time. Of course, the Who are from England, Guess Who are from Canada, but the Who ended up recording "Shaken All Over" on their Live at Leeds album. So they obviously, not only did we hear about them, they heard about the Guess Who along the way. So.
That's awesome. Gary from Detroit.
No, I'm from Winnipeg.
Yes.
Move to Detroit now.
Clearly have to go to Detroit.
Oh.
We've already kind of answered this. Are all the current bandmates from Canada? We know the answer to that. Are any Canadian influences in the band? Any Canadian artists influence you, Gary?
Ooh. I guess, I mean,
There weren't any.
There
Canadian
weren't
artists
really
before him.
that
It was
many.
him.
He
was.
like Cro-Magnon man.
Yeah, I mean,
Guess who?
Paul Anka was out there. Of
Yeah.
course,
Bless him.
And the Diamonds had Little Darlin'.
Oh yeah.
So there weren't that many groups at the time when we started. We were more influenced than if you really studied the band by the British invasion, which is really great to have seen all the great acts. I mean, before we had hit records, we had Shaken All Over in 1965, but when we started with Chad Allen, we were doing Holly songs. We played all the songs that they did, and we played the Beatles, and we played all. Chad Allen, who was our lead singer before Burton, he had a pen pal in London, and they would send us the records before they got here. So we were playing Beatles songs in our show, and we played Love Me Do for a long time. Someone came up to us one night and said, "Oh, I just heard your record on the radio." And Love Me Do, it's no, that's not our record, because we were playing it before the Beatles had it on the air in Winnipeg.
Smart.
So really,
Get ahead of it. Yeah.
we were much ahead of our time. I mean, we were influenced by all the people that you're seeing and all the great acts you're seeing on these cruise ships,
Good answer. Peggy has an interesting question. Peggy has a very interesting question. Do you feel, as a band or individually, constrained in your performance art to only perform certain songs and in this style? Or do you feel like you are allowed the freedom to do new ones and expand? Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd put it that way.
The crowd comes to see.
Yeah,
I think that's
we
what
tried
she's
to,
implying, yeah.
we tried, like, for certain songs, like These Eyes.
Yeah.
You can. You have to.
Yeah, it's been played 10 million times on the radio over, a long period of time. So we try to do it as best we can.
Sure.
And that's why we have several new songs in the show, which is where this band's personality shines.
Yeah.
So
we don't mess around with what's already good.
you come to hear what you heard on that little radio in your car, and so our job is to do just that.
It is something that we hear all the time. We as
I'm
in
sure
Star
you do,
Vista.
yeah, sure.
If a group or an artist comes on and says, "Hey, this is a new version of your old favorite,"
Yeah, I wouldn't like that.
no, we get hit with that. Why didn't I Guess Who play? They didn't do it right. That's why I grew up on that song. Or we get it. We get it hard if you even mess with. Because I mean, How many of you have heard these songs for decades, right? You've heard these songs forever. You know these songs.
Well, I mean, you are...
To the note.
You're the judge.
Yeah.
The people who saw the first show, did it sound like the record?
That's the goal. I think that was a great answer, though, that you have some new music where you get to kind of flex what the new band is about.
Yeah, but you're never going to have that kind of new material. It doesn't matter what band it is.
Yeah.
You're never going to have that opportunity to have a 50-year history behind a new song. You know, you have to wait another 50 years. And the delivery system now is different. I mean, you don't listen to the radio anymore. I mean, you know, maybe in the car, but they don't. You know, everybody's on their phone.
Yeah.
There's this and that. It's just not the same.
The attention span has changed.
The attention span is very light.
Robin and Cindy from Illinois. They must be over there. We understand there's been a few birthdays this cruise. Isn't that fascinating? Derek had a birthday. Who else had a birthday?
Tell them what I said at lunch today.
And who else had a birthday? Michael had a birthday as well. All three of you guys this week. That's kind of amazing.
And
In
Leonard.
fact-
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, Leonard.
In fact, we're going to reverse what we've been doing. All week long, people from the audience have been saying, can you have the band sing us happy birthday? Can you have the band? I tell you what, why don't we do them justice, everybody? And we'll just use the phrase, guess who, in terms of their... All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear.
Guess who?
Happy birthday to you.
Hand down.
Well,
That was awesome.
now I can be asked the question, have you ever had any firsts? Well, that's definitely...
There it is.
There it is.
I know we got to let you guys go. I know a couple things are happening. First, hang on. First and foremost, I know people want autographs. We are going to do, the gentlemen have agreed to do autographs. Don't rush up. We're going to do like we've done. We're going to take them around, and they're going to meet you out there. They've got a show tonight. Too much talking before a show is rough. So I know we got to get you out of here, but there's one more important question from Alan and Terry from Colorado. Derek, has anyone this cruise flashed you yet on the jogging track?
No, just in the salt pool.
Just in the salt.
Just in the salt pool. And I'll leave it at that.
And what was his name? Yeah. Michael!
Easy now, killer.
Obviously, this group is truly, truly fantastic. We are blessed and honored to have them on board this cruise. Help me thank the Guess Who! Thank you.
Join us for another groovy trip back in time on the 2023 Flower Power Cruise. We'll celebrate that unbelievable era with the music and artists of the Love Generation. Enjoy over 50 live performances from Herman's Hermits starring Peter Noon, Mickey Dolenz, voice of the Monkees, the Yardbirds, the Buckinghams, the Grassroots, the Fifth Dimension, the Family Stone, the Cowsills, the Manfreds, Big Brother and the Holding Company, cruise host Peter Asher, and many more surprises to come. Get to know these artists like never before at over 25 celebrity interactive events, including panel discussions, artist Q&As, game shows, and so much more. Don't miss this music festival at sea, sailing aboard the luxurious and newly renovated Celebrity Summit. Departing from Miami, March 23rd, 2023, this 7-day trip will stop in the beautiful ports of Belize City, Cozumel, and Costa Maya. Let your freak flags fly as we go back to the days of bell-bottoms, peace signs, and more, with special themed events and costume parties. Relive those memories of the 60s with your Flower Power Cruise family for another incredible week of good music and happy vibes. The Flower Power Cruise sells out earlier every year, so don't wait. You don't want to miss the grooviest trip at sea. Plus, check out our 70s rock and romance cruise sailing March 16th to 23rd, 2023. Sail these 2 trips back to back, and you'll receive even more incredible savings.